Look at this crazy dude. That's a Canadian, but he's not a salty Canadian. That's me. Hi, I'm Edwin. I'm going to be teaching you Pebble development. Alright guys, welcome back to the Pebble development tutorial series. This is our last tutorial for the weather app. So in this tutorial, we're going to be adding a simple settings page. And I'm going to be doing this inside of the weather app. And although we will actually send no data from the settings page in the Pebble app itself, we will be using it as an example so you guys know how to start off your own settings pages and where you can go from there. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our settings tab in the top left. We're going to go down and we're going to click configurable. And this is going to allow our app to display the little settings icon that is in your Pebble app with any app or watch face that has settings. Now we're going to go to our app.js file and we're going to create a new Pebble event listener. So we're going to copy this and we're going to rename the event listener name to show configuration. We're going to delete what's inside of this and we're going to come back to it, but first we're going to copy it again. And we're going to make another one called web view closed. Okay, so these two event listeners do these things. So the first one, show configuration, is called when the settings button is clicked on the Pebble app. So when the user hits the settings button, this is called. So we're going to call a function called pebble.open URL. And we're going to pass in our URL, which I'm going to grab in a second. And in the web view closed, we get a response from the web view. If it is canceled, we'll get no response. But if it is saved, then we will get a response and we'll be able to send that to Pebble. So what we're going to do here is type if e.response. So if the response exists, then pebble.send app message json.parse e.response, and we're going to go here and we're just going to console.log. We're going to say got message e.response. E.response is a string, so you can directly log it without having to stringify or anything. And what this does is check to see it exists, it logs it to the console, and then it sends the Pebble app message. And what json.parse does is parses a JSON object from the response. So we're going to grab our URL, but before we do that, we're going to go into settings again, and we're going to go to our PebbleKit.js message keys. We're going to add two new message keys. One, let me see what I called it here. I called it Boolean box, and one is going to be called color picker. Okay, guys? So please put those in your message keys and then go back to your app.js. And here's where we're going to put in our URL. So I've already made a web page example, and you guys can feel free to use this URL. I'm going to pop it in the description. This web page example is going to stay like this with just a test color and a test boolean. And what it's going to do for us is just demonstrate sending a color to the watch and sending a boolean to the watch. Sweet. So now we've done that. This URL will open when our settings button is clicked, and this data will be sent to the watch when the web view is saved. So now we're going to go into our main window.c and we're going to add another else if statement. I've gotten a little less salty about our switch after a day of, taking many deep breaths. So we're gonna let's just do color picker for now. We're gonna ignore our Boolean box. We don't care about that. And I'm gonna use a new function for you guys that you might have already seen if you've been digging around in the documentation. So we're gonna have a gcolor here called color, and we're going to set this equal to gcolor from hex. I believe that's how it's spelled or how it's written. Yeah, gcolor from hex. And we're going to pass in the tuples in 32 value directly. Okay. So this will actually parse the color that comes from the site. And how does this happen? Well, the web page, which I'm going to show you the code of in a minute, actually returns to you the hex value of the G color, and then you just parse it with this Pebble convenience function. Now you're able to use that color. And we're going to use a new function called menu layer set highlight colors. And we're going to pass in our main menu layer, and our first color is going to be called color. And then we're going to use a new function called gcolor is legible over. And we're going to pass in our color. And what this is going to do is put the color as our background of when the whatever is selected is highlighted. And then we're going to give it a legible G color. So whatever G color we put in, maybe it's lighter, so we want a legible, so a darker color on top of it. We're going to save this, and then we're going to run. I'll run it on my phone. And you guys are just going to have to believe me here, and we're going to check the app logs as well if we have a successful build. Cross your fingers, folks. Yes, okay. We're going to install this app. And if you have your own physical watches, this will be a great time to test as well. It seems we're stuck on this screen. We're going to refresh this. Go to compilation. We're going to run. Preparing to install. Installed. Okay. So I can see on my phone that I have a settings icon now for our weather app. And I'm going to click the settings icon. And it does load up my web page. Perfect. So now on the web page, it has two tabs. It has the test color section and a test boolean. I'm going to click the boolean so it's true. I'm going to pass in, let's just say a blue color. I'm going to click save. And it did successfully change the background color to blue on my watch. We're going to check the logs here. And you can see here, guys, that what our program did was it did get the message of color picker and the Boolean box from our settings page. It sent it to the watch, and the watch parsed it. So let's just hop over to our settings page codes. We're actually going to go to github.com/AustinSparkley/webpage_example. It's in the description as well if you want to check it out. And I'm going to teach, so you might want to set up your own web page, and I'm hoping that you do. And if you do not want to host it on your own servers, maybe you don't have them, maybe you want to, keep it somewhere else, then you can host simple web pages on GitHub. So if you create a GitHub repository, and then create a branch called gh-pages, typed exactly like that, all lowercase, GitHub will host whatever you put in this section, in this branch, on your username, .github.io/ and then whatever this repository is called. And that is the structure of what we had there. We had austinsparkleague.github.io/webpage_example. So this is really great if you want to just if you want to throw up a quick HTML page. You don't want to worry about hosting it on your server, doing all that crap. And I also have our example web page here for you guys to see. So if you guys want to download this, simply go to the link in the description, the GitHub link, click clone or download the zip, and you will be able to see all of the code that's here. So we're just going to briefly go over our index.html. This is not an HTML tutorial, so I'm not going to be covering the syntax. If you do not understand this, and you are still really confused, you're going to have to look it up on your own. I'm sorry. So you can see here we've got a container with our test color, and we've got a container with our test boolean. These are different types of inputs that have different types of classes, CSS classes, from an awesome library named Slate. And Slate was developed by someone at Pebble that wanted to make setting screens look and feel like official Pebble apps or official Pebble created, settings pages. And so anyone can use this. You can look up Pebble Slate. There's a very nice tutorial on how to get yourself set up. I actually took this code and modified it a bit for the purpose of our tutorial. I took it from their example code. And so what we do here, this is actually JavaScript, so you guys don't have to be scared about this if you are HTML, is it gets the configuration data by looking through the elements, actual value, saves it in local storage for future use, and then it just calls this, it closes the window with this data. So the data is actually appended onto, I believe, Pebble.js :close, and it's appended after this hashtag, and it's returned to the Pebble like that. So you guys can mess around with that more if you'd like. I think that'd be awesome if you did. So now that we've done that, that's actually all for today's tutorial, guys. I gotta say, it's not too much of a hard one. We just implemented a settings page through app.js with our new event listener. We implemented the WebView close listener, which sent the response directly to the watch. And we parsed the color on our watch with gcolor from Hex. So what I want you guys to do now is look up Pebble's Slate library. And I want you guys to see the different types of data inputs that you can put into your HTML page. Create your own repository, pop it in GH Pages branch, and try out your own URLs, try out your own settings, see what works, see what doesn't work, mess around with it, have some fun. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. The outro video for this weather app at least. Bye bye.